figured that little bugger be back. I just didn't expect it this early in the year. Okay, so not the good stuff going on. There were 2 jalapeno pepper plants right there. Gone. Look at the tops of my peas right here. Bit, bit, bit. That god dang groundhog is back. This bed down here had a bunch of peppers in it also. Most of them are gone. There's a couple that made it, a couple that did not. There's kale all on this side. It looked as good as this lettuce did. And yeah, a lot of that is gone now too. Oh man, this is frustrating. I knew we would have to deal with the groundhog at some point in time. Every other year it's been later. I've actually been able to plant things and get them to a good size before he shows up, or she, whichever. So I got the traps out. There's a fresh hole dug over there. I'm thinking that's where it's entering the yard, and there's also another spot over on the other side. Now this one is really on me. There's a big hole right there. I'm guessing they're tunneling from there under either this fence, or there's another hole just in the middle of the yard that I found right here. There's some Groundhog highway right there. So apparently there's a groundhog highway all over the yard here. Either they've gotten really smart and they just know to come to my yard first, or they've been here all winter and I just didn't know where they were. Either way, it's super disappointing. So good news, I guess, is that I left the greenhouse open, which was a mistake because there are some brassicas in here and there's some parsley, which he loved last year, and you know, there's some nice looking kale over here, which all are things that would definitely attract a groundhog, and he could have came in here and had a feast, and he didn't. So I guess there's one good positive of it. We didn't lose everything in the greenhouse, but I'm gonna pick some of this kale to put bait in those traps because I gotta catch this thing and get rid of it. Looks like it also found some of these radishes over here. Did a little bit of feasting on them. Oh man, this is so frustrating. It's like I'm already worried I'm having a bad start. Because I'm back to work now, which means I can only plant like on the weekends really, or maybe a little bit after work. You know, but I was getting stuff in the ground. I'm like, all right, this is gonna go great. This is gonna be a great year. And then all of a sudden things are gone already. Gone. No peppers, they're already gone. Now I gotta start over with my peppers, and I do have a few downstairs that I didn't plant out, so I do have some that are a little more mature I can put back out, but those ones were already 4 weeks into growth and freaking gone, man. Just gone. It's like why can't I win? Just go. So we usually always have to deal with a groundhog. They just show up, man, and they've never really been that bad, except for last year. They were relentless on everything. And I set out traps, I couldn't catch it. I caught everything except for that groundhog. At one point in time, we caught a little possum. Say hi to Roger. Yeah, we ended up letting him go just because they seemed more beneficial to the garden than they were harmful to the garden. So there was no need to do anything with that. I just let that guy go. He was really easy to get out of the cage. Simple. And then we caught a raccoon at one point in time. Jeez. So now we get to deal with the freaking groundhog this early in the year. He's gonna be trying to catch everything as we put it out. Obviously he's eating pea tops, eating the peppers already. Yeah, this stinks, man. Kale already gone. Like, there's a lot of time and investment into all that, and it's already just wiped out in a day or two. Like, I didn't even, some of this stuff has barely been in the ground. It's barely been popping up. Those peppers were 4 days old that I put in the ground. They've been in the ground 4 days, you know, plus my other 3-4 weeks of investment into them. Ah, man. So here we are on this year's adventure of trying to catch a groundhog. So sometimes when you live in an urban environment and you want to do stuff like this, this is one of the downfalls of having it, is that you have the tastiest yard in the neighborhood. So groundhogs are looking for you. And we also have to deal with a lot of like stray cats and come in here and they just use the garden how they want. And they drink the water that's stored in different places, little different things to drink pockets. Oh, they just drink a lot of the water that's stored around the yard, little like ponds, little things that just get filled up. They like to come around and drink it. So I got a lot of animal activity in this yard, and you would think that some of that would cancel each other out, but for some reason it doesn't. So the other thing that I'm guessing this groundhog did was, I had some comb that I had knocked off the other day, and I kind of left it here to let the bees clean off, you know, do their thing. And look at that. It's gone. There was like a big chunk of comb. It looked very similar to this one here, but like 3 times the size. Like, this is probably part of that. For some reason they didn't eat this, but they ate the rest of it, or took it, or something. Because it's not there. And I thought having the bees back here, this used to be the big alleyway for the groundhog, that they would kind of deter a groundhog from coming in. Because when it came out, I was hoping, you know, they'd be like defensive of their hive, maybe sting them a couple times, get them to run away. I don't know, I don't see any kind of tracks back there from the groundhog. And I looked for any holes or anything. I kind of looked where he dug before, which was like right by the garage there. I didn't see any holes, so maybe he's not back there at all. But man, this is just so frustrating to have to deal with this already in the year. But we're gonna do what we can do. We got the traps out. We baited them. I'm gonna try to plant some stuff out. It's a really wet weekend. You know, I gotta work now during the week, so I don't have time during the week to do it. I gotta do it on the weekends. And then I'm gonna put out my all-time favorite little pest control, which is blood meal. So blood meal is also a good fertilizer because it's high in nitrogen, but it's kind of like a scent, and it usually keeps a lot of these little critters away because they smell blood and they think there's a predator that'll get them. So what I do with the bone meal is I will spread it all around like the outside perimeter of the garden area, on all sides of it, and yeah, I just kind of spread it all out as much as I can. And sometimes I'll sprinkle it like inside the beds, some of the beds in the back, just kind of anything I want to protect. And it usually does a pretty good job. It definitely keeps the squirrels down from getting in the garden. They definitely don't like the smell of the blood. The groundhog, I would say mixed results. The only problem with that is that it only works when it doesn't rain. If it rains, it kind of washes all that stuff away and you lose the effect of it. So yeah, this stuff will be going out later today, you know, when it's a little bit drier out, and as long as it doesn't look like it's gonna rain tomorrow. But you know, it kind of gets to the point this year where it rains a lot, so we might just have to put it out and then hope it sort of works, and then kind of reapply it every few days or whenever it rains or whatever. But usually I find that that does a lot for me, and it's usually pretty helpful. Man, I just can't believe it already. Oh, freaking ready. Oh, and remember how I talked about planting all that garlic because it's supposed to help deter some pests? Well, as you can see, there's a bunch of garlic right here, and that's where the groundhog came into the yard. So obviously the little smell of garlic that this might be giving off didn't bother him at all. Not one bit. Alright, well, now that we dealt with that, getting some of that cleaned up, putting traps out and set, I guess I can actually try to plant the garden again. Probably gonna start with seeds this time, give myself a chance to try to catch that thing before everything starts popping up. And yeah, there we go, man. We just lost 3 weeks on most everything. A lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff that we just lost 3 weeks time on. Those peppers, man. There's some good news. I put some kale and stuff back here, some Brussels sprouts. None of this was touched, so he didn't make it back this way. Maybe he didn't do the comb, I don't know. Something ate that comb, which is really odd and weird to me. But here we go. Wish me luck in this year's Groundhog Wars. Hopefully I am victorious.